Hey guys, it's Tuesday today. Um, I wanted to jump really quickly into the Eve part of the process. Um, I've been having some, sorry, my children have balloons, so they end up in our space. But anyways, I'm not gonna let that slow me down. Balloons are okay. Um, let's see. I've been talking to my friend Jake about this exact book. We met under completely different circumstances, and because this is the thing that lights me up. This is the work that I enjoy doing. It quickly kind of morphed into this. It's so funny because uh, he's been wanting to learn about some of this stuff and honestly is like right on the cusp of grasping this whole process for himself. Um, but like me, kind of, needed that nudge from the universe to kind of jump over the fence. It's great. It's great. I love it. Um, we're doing the first E and Eve today. This is the emotional aspect. This is going to help us get away from those emotional triggers and to hopefully help us get centered in our being so that we don't have them come up as much as we normally would up until now. Okay, so some of the deepest triggers and shadows that we all have are tied to emotional reactions. These can be the most disruptive and painful shadows in our existence. Um, like like me, a lot of my deeper shadows, more of the deep work that I had to do was around like family dynamics when I was growing up. If you have that same dynamic, it can be really painful because it's something that, you know, maybe we weren't expecting to experience at that point early on in our life. Um, I don't think any child really expects abuse, but a lot of us have lived through it. Um, so that in and just of itself, abuse usually spawns that cycle of abuse in those people that were abused. Did they become the abuser? Um, so we're then moving away from all that because we're adults and we have choices and we're going to exercise them in a way that's functional for us. All right, so these are also my personal favorite, absolutely, triggers to reprogram because the before and after are total opposites. They are in such stark contrast that you have no choice but to acknowledge that you are a different person. It's amazing. I love it. I'm sorry. This is my happy place, like I said. Um, our emotions can be a blessing, but also a curse if we don't know how to control or manage them. Facts. So much facts right there. Um, all right, I am going to take, that's just my note for this. Like I said, like the book doesn't get really into the deep stuff right off the bat. It just kind of explain what each step is for. And a little bit later in the book, because I mean the thing is over 60 pages, and we're on section 8 today. So it's not gonna be like this is this section blah 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 blah. No, I want to do a snippet, tell you what it's about, tell you what it's for, tell you what it does, and then once you know what everything is for, see, I like when you unpackage something, I like to look at all the pieces first and then look at the directions. maybe I'm backwards, maybe I'm built wrong, but once I understand what the piece is, I know this is A, I know this is B, I know this is C, okay, C connects to A, okay, B connects to C, okay, got it. It's a lot easier to go through that process once I have all the pieces. So this is the way my brain wanted to spit it out, so that's kind of how it's set up. So that's why I give you like those little bits of homework, because when we start putting everything together, all that homework, and you're gonna get more homework. I I say somewhere in here, I talk about someone who had a really profound effect on my life, and my favorite thing to say to them was, "Can I ask you a stupid question?" Because a lot of people are like, those questions are so dumb, but they get to the heart of the problem. But this person, anyways, told me there's no such thing as a dumb question, just inquisitive idiots. Um, so, okay, let my idiocy run, because this is what it gets me. It gets me life changing, effects. Fine, fine. I don't care. Whatever you want to call me is fine. But I'm gonna do what I love, and I'm gonna do it in a way that is a lot less painful than what got people to where they are. That's important. Okay, so our emotions can be triggered by thoughts. Like when I sit here and I choose to talk about the relationship that I had with my mom, that dynamic is vastly painful for me. Yes, I have healed that and I've moved through it, but the thought and the memory brings up that emotion. That will still happen for a while. But the thing is to not attach to that emotion, because the emotion is actually baseless. Like, yes, we've had these experiences, but what does that have to do with now? How does something that happened 35 years ago dictate how I feel now? Should it? Should I let it? I don't see how that helps me. I don't see the point. It's not productive. It's not helping me embody who I truly want to be. Yeah, so I don't think we actually need to attach ourselves to those experiences. It's enough to know that we've gone through it and that we have been spit out the other side, and now we're grown people and we can make different choices. We can make better choices. Some of us make stupid choices still. But hopefully, in making those choices, we learn things, and that's the whole that's the whole point of life, isn't it? Live, learn, love, grow, and be an amazing human. I don't think it's totally outside the ballpark to have those expectations. Um, so while we're talking about triggers a little bit, um, I want to touch on the fact that our thoughts can trigger emotions. And if we're in one of these emotional spirals, that we can get sucked into that unconscious behavior a lot easier than we can if we're in the present. If we're not ruminating about things that happened in the past. If you are here, you're present, you're conscious, and you're with yourself in the now, you can't be two places at once. So if you're here, with your energy, you can't be there. You can't be in the past, you can't be in the future. You know, you just got to be here and stable in what's going on now. When you do that, things start changing. Um, he was telling me, my friend Jake was telling me things have been changing in his life over the last week that he never thought were gonna change, which is amazing to me. Um, you know, I don't know how to explain that shift to people, but I know it happens because I've seen it happen with me, and I am just so, I don't know, excited for people that actually get to that point where they can see that just even a little bit of work, and just changing the way that you think, just that can change so many things. Um, I'm super excited to hear like what goes on over the next couple weeks with that situation. I'm very excited. I'm hoping to get through this book by the end of the month. Today is the 17th, and we have a little bit to go. So, actually, I might try and squeeze the rest of the Eve into today's. Okay, so homework for this section. So these sections are very, very small. But okay, this is your homework for the emotional section. Ready? What are the emotions that trigger you the most? That's it. Cut and dry. What triggers you? As far as like emotional things. So the vibrational section is a little bit longer, but I think we have time if I do not sidetrack myself. All right. So we each have a range of vibration that we function the best within. The earth has its own vibration and frequency, and so does everything on it, including you. Okay? Important stuff. If we can elevate through the lower vibrations up into the higher vibrations, we'll notice that the things in our life that don't align with who we are or where we're heading will naturally fall away or drop off the map. These are some of the things that are happening for the people that I'm working with, which is amazing. All right, finding ways to align and elevate your vibration will always be work, but likewise, always be worth it. So, my grandmother used to tell me, you know, you get out of something what you put into it. And this is exactly true. If you're like, oh, I hope I have a higher vibration today, and then you stub your toe and the first thing you do is freak out. And guess what? It's gonna be a challenge. So if you wake up in the morning and you're like, today is, you know, the first day of the rest of my life, and then, you know, you stub your toe and you're like, you know, I could have lived without that, but I'm not going to let it slow me down. You're going to get a whole lot further. You'll see things change real fast. I love that so much. All right, so vibration, we all have one. We all have a vibration that we're comfortable in, and we also have a vibration that we find it difficult to maintain. If you have a comfort vibration that is like on the lower side where, you know, you like to talk about drama with your friends, if you like to gossip a lot, if you like to complain, if you like to yell and scream about anything that bothers you, don't mind that. There's some work going on outside. You know, that might be a comfortable vibration, and that's one of the reasons I don't spend a lot of time around my immediate family, is because there's a lot of that. And that's not a vibration I enjoy. I'd rather focus on good things. I'd rather focus on the blue sky and the clouds and the bugs, even, whatever. Um, I had a spider come in the house the other day, and I grabbed a piece of paper and scooted him on it and brought him back outside. Um, I just, yeah, I don't see in my own experience, I don't see anything good about trying to stay in that vibration. Um, so I'm about like climbing. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to do it, but the more you do it, the better you get at it, just like anything. So start somewhere. Start here. Start with, today is going to be a good day. Just start there. Start with one small thing. I'm not asking you to run marathons. I don't, I mean, if you do, awesome, freaking good on you. But I'm not gonna, like, that's not my cup of tea. Um, for me, like, changing the way I think has been a marathon, and changing not only how I think, but why. Why is a big one. Um, it's amazing. So this is the homework for vibration. I think I'm going to be able to fit them all in here. This is going to be good. Okay, so focus on surrounding yourself with things that make you feel seen. Things that bring you joy, deep in your soul type of joy. Not, I like chocolate, so I'm going to eat a candy bar type of temporary happiness. Because what happens when the chocolate's gone? It's a very temporary thing. Um, so let's see. If it feeds your soul, the feeling won't fade. And the better of a match it is to your current vibration and higher ones, the more you echo with that joy once that moment has passed. Okay, so if you can keep this feeling of joy in your space, in your body, in your brain, and know how that makes you feel. If you, I don't want to say attached because that's not necessarily a good word, depending on how you're using it. But if you match, that's the word I used. If you match with that vibration, that joy, that feeling of like utter bliss, like the more of that you're going to be able to pull into your life, because like magnetism, you have to be on that vibration to attract those things into you. So quick, the homework for this one is what brings you true joy. Think bliss, think happiness, think, those things that can't be taken away by life. Let's see if we have a little bit of time for the energetic. Okay, so the energetic, just like the last two topics of emotion and vibration, these are things not strictly tangible unless they're being expressed. Okay? You can't look at someone and be like, okay, that person is sad, that person is happy. I mean, unless it's visible, I can't just walk into a room full of people and be like, okay, these are high vibrational people, those are low vibrational people. I mean, if they're yelling and screaming, you can, but most of the time when we're just zoning out, it's not fairly noticeable to most people. So let's see. So everything has this trinity of life. So emotion, energy, vibration. We know there are trinities in most things here in the 3D. You ever wonder why this is called the third dimension? Guess we're going to get into that one later too. Let's see. As we dive deeply into our own wiring and see where we have energetic limitations, we can better check our egos and heal old wounds. Okay, so if there's something that you need to do, and I'm not talking about like procrastination per se, but this can lead to procrastination. If you are just talking yourself out of being able to do the things that you know that you need to do, That can be an energetic, like, leak, um, caused by your ego. I went through a lot of that stuff. Um, so we, by healing our old wounds and looking at like our emotional state, we can always find those places where we have energy leaks, um, because of the dynamic between emotions and energy. Um, and just to give a quick example, because emotions and energy are tied, um, like if you spend time bawling your eyes out, you know for a fact that you're going to be tired. I know when I cry until like I start yawning and I cannot like catch my breath anymore. And then I just want to go to sleep. Um, so that that dynamic is a purging, um, of that energetic resonance, that the ego wants to hold on to. Crying is a good thing. Um, So, part of healing is sometimes reopening these wounds and letting them breathe and heal, and then switching perspectives and forgiving our offender. In convergence, we must also forgive ourselves for our unconscious reactions to others. Okay? Um, yeah. Like I said, as a mom, like being in the situation where you're starting to perpetuate that cycle, of abuse, like screaming at my kids and being obnoxious, um, I find it hard to forgive myself for that because I really disliked my mom for a long time for doing that behavior to me. Um, and here I am just doing it unconsciously again. Like, why do I need to do that? You know what I mean? So forgiveness goes both ways. We need to forgive ourselves and we need to forgive that person, even if we don't talk to them, even if like you never talk to them again. Just switch that perspective and be like, you know what, maybe they were just doing the best they could with what they knew. And that's what I had to do for myself. Um, and go at your own pace because it's not going to happen overnight. It didn't for me either. So, I'm not telling you just get over it because that's not how human beings are built, unfortunately. Um, so let's see. Um, yes. Okay, so homework, real quick. Um, Reclaim your energy. What have you been holding on to that can be let go? One question. What can now be forgiven and moved through? Two questions. We can't fly if we're tethering ourselves to the past, just like butterflies. They can't fly and hold on to the cocoon at the same time. We need our energy. So the big question, what is holding us back? Um, and that's all of Eve. So we're gonna do the recap probably tomorrow. We're probably gonna, when we do the little review, we're gonna have a lot of questions because I feel like this part is less brick and mortar. It's more conceptual. And I mean, I have to give you guys the reins, honestly, because when we're talking about like your emotions, your vibration, and your energy, it's yours. And I can give you examples from my life, and I can try and, show you where that gate is, but honestly, this is about you and how you function. Um, so I'm gonna be like explaining this out a bit and then like handing it over and be like, this is up to you. Like this is on you. I can't do it for you. Nobody could do it for me. Um, but I like being a guide. I have plenty of walking sticks. I can let you borrow one. Let's go. I'll walk with you through the woods. But you got to be willing to take the steps. Okay? Hopefully this will hold you guys over until tomorrow when I come back. You know, fight the good fight. Stay focused. And let everything else go. In the end, it's not important. Okay? Love you guys. Peace. See you tomorrow.